This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 42, verse 9. Behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare before they spring forth. I tell you of them. This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, beginning at verse 1. I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower. I will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. Verse 2. And the Lord Yahweh, why Yahweh shall answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that read of it. Verse 3. For the vision is yet for a appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Verse 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Verse 5. Yea, also because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desires is hell. And this is speaking about a particular individual or a group of people, a particular nation of people, and is as deaf. And who was called the son of perdition in the book of Second Thessalonians? Esau, Edom, and cannot be satisfied, but gather unto him all nations, and heap unto him all people. Who is the most covetous people on this planet? Who is the most people that have this want to be omnipotent, or some brothers call it omnipotent? At the end of the day, who wants to be as if they're like the Most High? Who wants to put and track your every move? Who came up with GPS technology? you know Who wants everybody to live by their philosophies and try to push a way of life onto the whole world? I was just listening to a brother speak on that. The brothers from Mississippi, the elder was saying how you go to other countries and you get there and they have been so much indoctrinated and drunken off the Babylonian juice that you get there and they got the country trying to be set up like how America is. This is the point. Verse 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Chakodesh Bakatham. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing his truth with faith and sincerity, as well as risking their lives, as well as their freedom to do so. Shalom to the Aqua, any Akim out there listening and learning. Lord willingly, this is an edifying video. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of the other nations, who look or appear like the other nations to you. I say shalom. This is the brother Yahweh Sop out of the GMS Cleveland Church, a fellow servant, coming at you with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. And basically, this lesson is going to touch on an article I came across yesterday. And through the spirit, I'm getting the opportunity to do it now. But it's a very I'm gonna say important, and it's all through the spirit because, like I say, you got brothers right now that's like, a few brothers done touched on it. People don't understand how this supply chain works, how the economies work, and how this CV, and it was all through man-made manipulation as well. Because you gotta remember, a lot of the procedures that's put in place and how they stop the society. This is social engineering 101. If you really have any understanding of certain things, that's why the Lord puts the spirit on certain brothers to go into certain things outside of the scriptures and correlate it with the scriptures. But not to digress or or run on a tantrum. But that's why scripture says, at least in 2 Corinthians chapter 2 talks about at least Satan should get advantage of us because we're not ignorant of his devices. Like I said, when you understand how social engineering take place, they're showing you right now. Just last year, your way of life that was prior 2020, it basically has changed that quick. I mean, to show you the effects of it, recently, I literally went through a situation that I probably didn't use wisdom on. But I got into somewhat of a verbal altercation where Esau, Edom, the slave catchers got involved. But the point is, me and the guy at the restaurant, he talking about it's been 2 years, and I'm like 2 years, and I'm like, God, dude, we ain't even only been over here for about 6 months. But he was talking about as far as having to wear a face mask. So that show you how easily programmable people are. But they're socially engineering things right now, like they do created change, like this year to participate and actually going to certain events and whatnot, you're gonna have to show, like in my city, I already know they putting up for summer events you got to put your permits in now, but it's gonna be stipulations with that. It's already been made known, and they keep on playing, just like they keep on playing with you about these stimulus checks. You know what I mean? Like this is all. You know how you wait on your parent to give you something? they reverting everybody back to kids to a certain extent, and that's why if you can't see, this place is literally over with by next year. If you expecting life to be the same, I mean, to be honest, not to digress again, because like I said, it's a point to all this. And I can't say when and what time. Only the Most High knows when He's gonna allow these catastrophes to come about. This is the Most High's scripture. I mean, Salakia script movie, but I mean, from what I'm seeing and what brother's speaking on, and if you follow economics and a lot of things are about to heat up around the summertime. It's going to be a lot of violence, a lot of turmoil, and a lot of pain. Because, like I said, it's a few different things that make people become savage mode, and money is one of them. You know what I mean? A main one, in fact, But I'm going to bring out this scripture and then bring out the article. This is Isaiah chapter 47, verse 1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sitting on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Verse 2, take the millstone and grind meal. Uncover thy locks, make bare the leg. Uncover thy thigh, pass over the rivers. And this place is being exposed for the harlot it is right now. We are laughing stock to the other nations to a certain extent. That's why you got nations like North Korea and Russia saying the things that they said. I mean, America, the big bad bully, is no longer that big bad bully anymore. You got a female and an old man. I forgot the term or I mean, not the definition, but the word. It's another word that's used for like not a derelict, but put it like this. That old man is, I would be surprised, like they said, if it'd be like that Simpsons episode where, Lisa took over the country, was the president. Because, Salakia, thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. And that's the point. This place, its shame is being seen right now. You got people know about the George Floyd incident in a whole nother country where they were protesting about what happened here, there. So, I'm going to bring out some of this article. Bear with me for a second. This is the article. It's out of the New York Times. And because of the price of gas, well, it's not the price of gas, but because of the supply lines have been so damaged by the coronavirus, if you actually been keeping up with any kind of, like, say, economic news, to ship goods, literally, because so many people are backed up on orders and whatnot. Basically, what it used to cost to like maybe $1,000 to actually rent a container to ship your goods, now they're charging like $10,000, or it's like on the spot prices. So therefore, then you have a shortage, a trucker shortage. So it isn't that you necessarily got less gas. It's you got less people to actually maneuver and get that gas to the pumps and to ship stuff. So basically, the price of goods is about to skyrocket, and this is an article going into that. It says this is crazy. This is out of the New York Times. It says diapers, cereal, and yes, toilet paper are going to get more expensive. Retailers used to absorb much of the cost of goods when suppliers raise prices. Now the difference is being passed on to the shoppers. And this is not by happenstance, coincidence. It's ultimately of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. It says Procter and Gamble is raising prices on it seems like Pampers and Tampax in September. Kimberly Clark said in March that it will raise prices on Scott toilet paper, Huggies, and pull-ups in June, a move that is necessary to help offset significant commodity cost inflation. Because with all the printing of money, you know what I'm saying, if you the more of anything, the less of value it is. And you cannot afford, like they done printed money 4 times, and they probably gonna try and do it a couple more times. But like I say, at the end of the day, it's so funny because even before I was completely engulfed in the truth the way I am now, it was certain, certain, I ain't gonna say truthers, but certain economics, economists, and certain people that follow the financial trends and whatnot that actually were speaking on what's happening now, going to happen in the future. I mean, and then the funniest part is you still got motherfuckers in their pride. I was tripping on my demon. I mean, this bitch is more prideful than ever. And the brother from Mississippi literally just did a video, and the Lord is literally just putting me in a situation. What you gonna choose? You know what I mean? You're gonna choose life or death. It's a scripture in Deuteronomy that says that. It says about I put before you life and death. Life is this scripture and this work and this truth. You know, I mean, you really got to understand you may have to forsake all on this side. But the reward is so much more great, and it's hard to fathom. But if you believe, it's not. I know brothers that got children and family, and it's easy for another brother that don't have those things to speak on it. So I would rather take the advice or actually watch a brother that got those things, that struggle with them things, and see how they deal with it, as opposed to somebody just speaking out. Because you don't really see. I mean, in this truth, I've seen brothers will not disappoint you, but surprise you. You will see a man in one instance, and then you see him in another situation, and because this truth is not easy. It's not an easy thing. That's why it's so important to be humble. I see a brother make mention of somebody, and then later on, the Lord might test that man in a certain situation. You got to be careful what comes out your mouth. And I was just reading that in the book of Mark. I think in chapter, I forgot what chapter it is. I just read it though. It's either 6 or 7. But he was talking about it's not what goes into a man's that defile him, but what comes out of his mouth. But Salakia. Not to digress, it says, and General Mills, which makes cereal brands, including Cheerios, is facing increased supply chain and freight costs in this higher demand environment. The company's chief financial officer, Kofi Bruce, said on a call with analysts, these price increases reflect what some economists are calling a major shift in the way companies have responded to demand during the pandemic. And the way they going to respond to it is they about to make you have to pay more for the goods. Because at the end of the day, if you paying if it costs 1,000, and now you paying 10 times more to actually be able to ship these goods, now you know what I mean. You know what I mean. You got to remember, a lot of places. The reason why the government was giving out so much food stamps and actual stimulus checks is because you got a lot of supermarkets that basically didn't make their profit unless it was like the beginning of the month. That's just like retail stores. A lot of retail stores didn't make a profit for the year until it was around, you know what I mean, the holiday seasons. Certain Mother's Days and whatnot, and certain pagan ass holidays, you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? So now that, people ain't working and this shit is so crazy, yeah, they got to stimulate it to keep this shit going. But it's all an illusion. You get what I'm saying? Before the virus hit, retailers often absorbed the cost when suppliers raised prices on goods because of stiff competition forced the retailers to keep prices stable. The pandemic changed that. It created chaos and confusion, and it took out a lot of the like mom and pops and created these megalithic corporational type like Walmarts and Targets and shit like that. And then they can dictate the price of certain things. Walmart isn't expensive, but when that's the only place you can go to get goods, that can all change. So you got to remember, Walmart is a big box store, so they can afford to actually literally keep the prices down because the size and the amount of quality of products they can keep. But show you how shitty Walmart is. I mean, Walmart is one of the shittiest places. I mean, I'll go because of the deals, or you bound to find what you're looking for. But for the most part, the service is the shittiest, like one of the worst places to go, in my opinion. And even Target and them, like say, like the customer service shit is shitty, you know what I'm saying? And then the prices could fluctuate. And then like say, like I've seen it. You know what I mean? Like you see something online, then you get there and the price changed Or it's no longer that brand, so you can only get that brand, but you done went through all this to go get down there. Or you think it's something that's in stock and it's not in stock. They got it at the warehouse, let them tell it. But what the truth is, they might not have it at the warehouse. See, Walmart deals with, they like Amazon, where they got all these subcontractors and whatnot. So they deal with all these different little outlets and whatnot. So they might not have it in stock, but they'll go to the outlet and have you buy it through them. But you just going through Walmart's app, or you know what I mean? Like, right. It says it's created chaos and confusion in global shipping markets. And that's the whole point of it, leading to shortages and price increases that have cascaded from factories to ports, to stores to consumers. When the pandemic hit, American shoppers' habits shifted rapidly, with people spending money on treadmills and office furniture instead of going out to eat in restaurants and seeing movies at theaters. And you still have people seeing doing these things going out and about, but because they regulated, you couldn't go to theaters like that. You couldn't go to restaurants like that. So all that money that was going into economy, you literally put it in your house. So yeah, you kept things and bought things to entertain you at home. That's why it's like PlayStation, Sony, them fucking Moabites was a part of the whole understanding of the whole situation, because it's not by coincidence that they dropped the PlayStation 5 around the pandemic. This in turn put enormous pressure on factories in China to produce these goods and ship them across the Pacific in containers. And that again goes to how much money China has made, and that's why they think that they got next. One of the reasons why they think they got next, that's why they put so much money into this digital dollar, they digital yuan. But America's behind on that. See, China lightweight started their 5G structure, and they're using that digital dollar. You know what I mean? They actually like tweaking it and whatnot. Well, not digital dollar, it's called the digital yuan or whatever. But you know what I mean? They testing, they like in the beta testing phases. And you got other countries that's been doing it. You know what I mean? Like Switzerland and, you know what I mean? And certain other countries. America's kind of late on this thing, because they know that they're going to get probably a lot of opposition here. So the Consumer Price Index, measure of average change in the price paid by U.S. shoppers for consumer goods, increased 0.6% in March, the largest rise since August 2012. So they talking about since last March, the largest rise of the prices paid by consumers has been in 8 years. And that's still going to steadily increase. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, higher costs aren't affecting just the United States. British inflation hit 0.7% in March, fueled by the prices of oil and clothing. And that's going to continue because, like I said, now you got inflation, but pretty soon it's going to be hyperinflation, especially if they print out any more money. And it's already on the table for Biden to try and print out more money. He has a whole nother stimulus plan in the works. Now, they keeping it close to the table. More than likely, it probably will be another direct payment to Americans because of the simple fact, they know that people can't sustain. They're sustaining the economy. You know what I mean? But they're not telling you they're going to give you any money. But you got to remember, he's talking about rebuilding the infrastructure and whatnot. And then they starting out this money for people that got families. But what you need to understand, which is key, and that's why 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 9, it should kick in, and it's so important. Least Satan should get an advantage. We are not ignorant of his devices. It tells you in scripture, a gift destroyeth the heart. So if you don't think those certain things will come with stipulations, I just found out recently, if you was getting unemployment, you was automatically signed up for Obamacare. I'm like, wow, for real? So you don't think it's going to be stipulations in there if the government mandate we all got to get vaccinated, that they going to make it where because you getting Obamacare or you getting government assistance in some kind of way, you're going to have to get vaccinated? So I'm going to bring out these I got a couple of scriptures just showing you the time we in. This is the book of Jeremiah chapter 51. Point is, verse 6, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord Yahweh's vengeance. He will render her unto her a recompense. Verse 7, Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Verse 8, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. And this fall that's happening to Babylon right now, it was sudden. You got the elders like Elder Malcolm. I can recall very vividly that he kept on making mention that basically, the pandemic was to hide the fact of the retail apocalypse. He was saying this would start happening in 2019. And I've heard other people make mention of this. Now, I wasn't that aware of it then. So the first person I really paid attention to that made mention of that was the Elder Malcolm. At the end of the day, so this place was starting to fall suddenly then. But the complete fall is until this economy completely crashes. You know what I mean? When this dollar is actually crashed, and that's what they're gonna do. You know what I mean? And it's so it's amazing because it's getting clearer and clearer what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like the brother from Men of Valor, Bakor Moth was saying. He said basically they opening up New York. He say, don't fall for the okie doke. Again, I'm going to bring out that 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 9. At least Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of Shantan devices. At the end, he said they opening everything up by July 1st. For what? July 4th. Because they know motherfuckers going to spend money. They going to want to go kick it. You know what I'm saying? It's fucking hilarious. And then what's going to happen is lightweight and G's, because you got a lot of people that took the first dose of the jab and stab, but then didn't go back for the second. You got a lot of people, they talking about basically they're closing down vaccination sites because people ain't getting vaccinated like that. But once they start showing you, people go, because you got these entertainers, they about to let them back out showing you how they actually are part of the system. They about to let them go out and tour again. That's why DMX took the jab and stab, because he was going to try and tour. And the Lord had better plans for him. It makes me think of that scripture in Luke when he say, the rich man said, I'm going to tear down my barns and build bigger. Then he said, I'm going to sit back and, basically relax and eat, roughly paraphrase, and eat off of my riches and whatnot. And the Most High was like, oh, foolish man. He said, tonight is the night I require thy soul. It tells you in the book of Psalms chapter 68 that the Most High belongs to issues of death. But got another scripture. And with this coming, shortages of certain things, it's gonna have a lot of the storehouses empty. Because like I said, if they can't bring the amount of product that they normally used to bring, but you remember the pandemic when it first jade off and you couldn't find sanitizer or tissue or whatnot. That's going to happen again, but on a much larger scale, because the supply chain is not completely meaning completely stopped, but it's broken. So they purposely did this. Oh, this is the book of 2 Ezra chapter 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown and Salaki. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, and the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. Verse 23, and the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. Verse 24, and at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. But the point I wanted was, in that day when it comes down to feeding your household and another man's, it's gonna be fuck you. If look at what people do on Black Friday for a TV, what you think it's gonna be when it's the last gallon of water? You know what I mean? The Elder Barack, Angel of the Days, made a joke, but it was funny, but it was actually truthful too. I believe it was the Elder Barack. It was one of them brothers from the LA Cap, but he was talking. Yeah, it was the Elder Barack, I believe. But he was like, basically you get to fighting over the last can of some pinto beans or some shit like that. End up bashing the motherfucking head in for him, and then you eat them and you die because the bitches, because they 20 years old or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like the Lord that took out 2 birds with 1 stone. I remember the elder apostle Labar just did a video recently about that. The Lord took out two people with one stone. But yeah, you about to see shortages of food, and you about to see these people turn on each other, because at the end of the day, these people don't have any loyalty to themselves. This is a vain society. You seeing it now with, I mean, how you see it through social media. A motherfucker sit on all day to tell you about what the fuck their life is about. Or you got people that's literally, I was watching this one people on TikTok. Like I said, come to find out, dude is a part of Mayweather boxing camp, yada, yada, yada. So they living their best life. He had a beautiful wife. He got money, got a beautiful family and whatnot. But to show you how fucked up him and the wife is, the son is going through issues. He putting that on social media. And I mean, don't get me wrong, prayers work and whatnot, but it's certain things, I was just, like I said, watching YouTube, the Lord revealed some stuff to me. You got a lot of people, like they do pranks and shit to get attention. And the one chick, I forgot her name, Daphne Springs, because if you follow the little comedy sketches, people that do comedy on there, a lot of them tend to work with each other because they making money off YouTube. And she deal with the dude Big Jai. And long story short, though, she got a dude named D-Lay, and dude funny, and she funny to a certain extent. I mean, I watch them sometimes to, balance things out, and, I love comedy. But the point being, she did a prank on him, like as if like she got killed. And dude spazzed out on her, and she got mad because the first thing he started doing is his instincts kicked in, you know what I mean? And she mad because he started like wiping up his fingerprints and whatnot. But he like, how the fuck you mad when, why would you think this is funny? He's like, niggas went to jail for way less just being in the vicinity, let alone in the house. You know what I mean? He like, why would you think this funny? He was like, everything ain't no fucking joke. He spazzed out on it. He's like, everything, I mean, my life, it doesn't revolve around this fucking tape and video shit. So my point being, that's how vain these people are. So you really think people gonna share or be brotherly with one another? The thing is, the only people that's gonna be brotherly with one another is those that truly believe in a brotherhood. And the only people I know that believe in a brotherhood, I've seen gangs, I've been amongst gangs, all that shit come to pass. I've seen cartels. I mean, because there was a baby cartel when a whole group of men working together to sell drugs and whatnot. That's a cartel. You know what I mean? A congregation, a group of men. A congregation of wickedness, but nonetheless, all that shit go out the window. The only people, I ain't gonna say people, the only men I've seen to be brotherly is the man in this truth. I can't say the man of just Great Millstone because I don't know the brothers in other camps. And literally, like the elders say, and I believe that. I believe it's men of the Lord in those other camps. The Lord got people where he got them for a reason. You know what I mean? The Lord is truly playing chess. I know that for a fact, just based on my testimony. You got men that's literally in the truth that's going to end up being wicked, and you got men that was around a lot of wicked ass shit you going to see at the end that they men of the Lord. I can see men giving up and walking away from money. Just Nick Cannon and certain people like Mayweather and certain people like that, and Charles Barkley and these fucking Shaquille O'Neal. These faggot motherfuckers ain't them people. I got one more. Hold on. Because, like I said, these are the times we coming in. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Verse 15, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. And that's not just because of the race riots. You seeing that lightweight come to pass now. You got these Edomites making videos talking about they just waiting for the right opportunity because they ready for the race war. The race wars are talked about in the Bible. I don't know why people can't see that. You know what I'm saying? But it's not meant for you to see. I was just reading Mark again, and it's so deep. That's why it's so important to read the scriptures. If any brothers that's been in the truth, though, they know how sometimes spirits, you got that slothful spirit on you. You know what I mean? Like, I've had a spirit where I've had to listen to the audio Bible because for whatever reason, I can't read. I can't even read a paragraph. I mean, you know what I mean? One verse. By that time, you know what I mean? I'm struggling to read. Like, yeah. So, this thing is real. But, I train and thought that Satan just, well, I ain't gonna say Satan, but, for whatever reason, the thought just left my mind. It was something in the book of Mark, though. About the parables. call Allah Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, for giving that back to me. But when Yahweh Shah was talking to the multitude and he was speaking in parables to them, but then it said later on he would go and expound on it to the disciples. And it just makes you think how cold the scriptures is and how cold the world is and how Most High set this up. Because you're seeing that today. When we speak out loud on the highways and hedges, you got a multitude of people that's hearing it, but everybody's not actually getting it expounded on, or they're not getting an understanding of it because it's not meant for them. And that's why Yahweh Shah said what he said about it's given to you to know the mysteries of the kingdom, but to them it was not given. It's for them to see and not understand, or see and not see, or I forgot. I just read it though. But to see and not understand, and to hear but not to understand, roughly paraphrase. I'm not gonna go get it. But I just read it in the book of Mark. But basically, they're not going to get to understand it. They might be around it and witness it, but they ain't going to have no understanding of it. Because it's not given them to understand. And that's another cut proving that the Most High has an elect group of people. He's not dealing with the whole world. This is the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 15. But, Salaki, that's not just the race riots. That's going to be when these people start turning up because they trying to feed their families and all that. You know what I mean? Because you got to remember, America's a melting pot. It's Babylon. Yeah. So at the end of the day, you got a whole bunch of group of people that act like we all Americans, but then when actuality is underlying racism. This country was built on racism. What are you talking about? So why wouldn't what the people are how the leader is? So at the end of the day, if the founding fathers had a certain mindset, and you know what I mean, the way this place was established, and you know what I mean, all these things, it's spiritual. Like it's like if the mother of a household ain't shit, 9 times out of 10. The children of the household ain't gonna be shit either. Or if we gonna say even the father. I said the mother because majority of the time in our family households, the mother's not in the house. I mean, the father's not in the house. I'm not in my kid's household. I try to actually be in my kid's life. And to show you how the Lord don't want that, he constantly, he gives them to me because I pray for it. But I can't keep doing that no more. Like I said, I literally, like the brother Ayash from Mississippi just did a video. He said, literally, these women are through. At the end of the world, he did a video. A bitch sitting up there talking about we really need to, basically change the structure of the family structure in the household. Even if you ain't into women, you should let your friends and them raise the child. So you telling me a group of nigga bitches gonna be able to raise this man, but these same nigga bitches ain't gonna be able to withstand none of this shit in a day of pain. The Lord is increasing their pride for real. Oh, it's going to be terrible for a nigga bitch. At first I used to think because my dude used to say certain things and the way she's so rebellious, I'm like, she might not take it like that. But no, that's that, you know what I mean? Because it's, how Peter sat up there and said, oh, I'll never deny you, Lord. It's you don't know what kind of spirit you're going to have in that day. Like how when the sons of thunder sat up there, James and John said how, should we call down fire from heaven? He said, no, you know not what kind of spirit you have. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's just like a person talking rah-rah, and then when the heat comes, that's like men that call themselves in the truth. But when the persecution comes, we're going to see how much you was really in the truth. You're right. Because we ain't even really been persecuted yet. For the most part, we go out on the highways and hedges, and, they letting us do this for the most part. Throughout the pandemic and all that. Yeah, don't get me wrong. You got demons that be out there. So certain altercations that took place. But for the most part, it's not been real persecution yet. Verse 16, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. So they're going to be invading household to household. They're going to be taken from one another. They're not going to be paying attention to what these laws saying. They already defunding these police stations. The brother from Men of Valor was saying how New York, basically, for certain offenses or certain things that's going on, they're not even sending the police. They sending paramedics. So you know what kind of increased crime wave you about to have? And they purposely doing it right around now. It's not a coincidence they waited to this time to actually do the Derek Chauvin trial and none of that. In the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, because of their pride And Salaki, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. And that's the point. And you know what? I was gonna get Second Ezra 16, but ain't no point. You know what I mean? It goes into the persecution of the men that fear Yahweh Shem Yahweh. So that's another thing that's coming. But for the most part, I was just going into how because of the lack of bread, it's gonna put the spirit on certain men and women. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna be a spirit out here that's gonna have not just dog eat dog, but like it's gonna be a very, like I said, look at the society we in. You know what I mean? A motherfucker think they somebody because they got a YouTube channel. Or like I said, or a peon ass person that's nobody, they got a Facebook page. You that fucked up in your mind that come on, like we in high school type shit. Oh yeah, this is my outfit and this is what I eat for. I was just like, wow, you know what I mean? So these are the things coming. And you know what I mean? And I mean, if you actually are not ignorant to his devices and you actually have an understanding of the scriptures, you will already know that. So what is your best bet to do for what's your best bet, or how would you prepare for these upcoming days and calamities? To seek out a relationship with the higher power, your higher power, if you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, your higher power, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. So, or if you are a so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, or be destroyed. And with that, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Kol Haloyim, La Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rachakodas Wakatham. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing his truth with faith and sincerity, as well as risking their lives, as well as their freedom to do so. Shalom to the Akwat and the Akim out there listening and learning. Lord willingly, this is an edifying video. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, whom appear like the other nations, but subscribe to this truth. To you I say shalom. Until next time I'm able to come with another lesson. Shalom, shalom, and Mawath Lababal. Shalom.